You know what they say. Early bird gets the ultimate vacation home. Book early and save over $120 with Vrbo. Because early gets you closer to the action, whether it's waves lapping at the shore or snoozing in a hammock that overlooks, well, whatever you want it to. So you can all enjoy the payoff come summer with Vrbo's early booking deals. Rise and shine. Average savings $141. Select homes only.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, man, did I see some funny business this weekend. I told you Curtis was a bum. Curtis Sliwa, how dare you? How dare you? I knew it all along. I knew it. Well, did I know it all along? I gave him the benefit of the doubt in 2021. You know, better judgment notwithstanding. I said, Curtis can do this. Curtis. He's got the right stance on the issues. We know Curtis. We love Curtis. I always had my doubts about the guy a little bit. I mean, anybody who dresses like that for half a century, right? Fakes crimes, right? Just doesn't know when to back off the mob. You know what I mean? You're gonna screw around with the Gaudis, and then you're gonna claim you're a victim. Look, the guy's a maniac a little bit, right? He's a maniac. By the way, he's got obligations. If he can't fulfill the obligations that he has to, quite frankly, his blood relatives and former spouses, can he fulfill obligations to? I don't even want to say a city because he never got within striking distance, but to a campaign, to his donors, could he ever be trusted to? No, of course not. The man is basically, I don't know what the hell to make of him, to be honest. I think there's definitely a screw loose. I've looked into his eyes. I've tried to wonder what the hell was there. There's a lot of rage for some reason. There's a laziness. I'll say it again, a laziness. He used to hate when I said that he is not a hard-working man. I was out at you didn't see me at Coney Island. I was doing it every day. No, yeah, Coney, you like that stuff. That was fun for you. I'm talking about the hard work of actually doing the 4,000 different things, uncomfortable things you haven't done before to become mayor, right? Not hanging around with cats, right? Not just making a spectacle out of yourself, not marching in parades, not getting recognized. The other stuff. And I, quite frankly, don't even know what they are. I just know that Curtis wasn't doing them. And I told him. I was always, people say, you stabbed him in the back. No, I told him right out loud over the past couple of years after he lost decisively to Eric Adams. Decisively. I mean, he was blown out of the water. We never talk about that, but he got like less than 20% of the vote, 30% of the vote, something like that. Any Republican with a conscience, any Republican not with a conscience, any Republican on the ballot is going to get something like that. And Greg, I got the match. Yeah, I want to know actually whatever happened to all that money. Given the crazy system that we have, Curtis Sliwa, because he got however many signatures to get on the ballot, actually got millions of dollars. I wouldn't trust Curtis Sliwa with millions of dollars. It's just there are a lot of people I wouldn't trust with millions and millions of dollars. How was that money spent? How much of it went to, I don't know, his sister, his wife, other relatives? How much of it actually came back to Curtis? I wonder a lot. How much of it actually got to the people who he owes money, to whom he owes money? I wonder that too. I think there are a lot of people out there who are owed money from Curtis Sliwa who have not gotten paid. And I think that Curtis Sliwa was bought off by Mamdani in some way, shape, or form. Something really weird about the whole thing. So this weekend, I go to the Inner Circle dinner, which used to be, it's nice. It's always nice to go out to dinner on a Saturday night. And WABC, Katsimatidis, John, Margot, Red Apple Media had a big table. That's a massive contribution to the Inner Circle. I hope they spend that money wisely, by the way. It's supposed to go to the kids. You rent out the ballroom 3 nights in a row. Is that it for rehearsal, for dress rehearsal too? I looking at that thing. I think the cost could be trimmed a little bit. Trimmed. These goofy reporters, some of them who have not been on TV literally in decades. It was interminable. It just look. You want to make us a spoof, a parody song? Great. Then you have to have the words that we can read along with, not in the program. You actually have to put them up on the screen. You know, they're talking too fast. It's like Hamilton. You ever see Hamilton? It's like Hamilton without the talent. So all of a sudden there's a movie in the middle of this thing. Basically, it's all City Hall journalists and their hangers-on who come together and they sing and dance for whatever reason. And they're kind of making fun of the mayor, but they hold back a little bit. And then the mayor gets a chance to come on and say stuff. Now, Bloomberg used to do this great. So did Giuliani. This was a disaster in so many ways. Now, I will say, Mamdani at times was pleasant. He was. And at times he had a couple of funny lines. I actually enjoyed it when he ripped on the media. That was actually kind of cool. Then that's it. Then there's this bizarre, nonsensical, unfunny, weirdo skit appears on video on a great big projection. This is in the Ziegfeld, which used to be a movie theater. Now it's like a catering hall, and we're all in there. And all of a sudden, Curtis Sliwa is pretending he's a doctor, and Mamdani is pretending he's a patient. He's got like one of those medical smocks on, and they're having the craziest conversation. Does Curtis do drugs? Because I know Mamdani does. I know Mamdani smokes weed. I wonder if Curtis does, because this thing only really seems funny to somebody who's stoned. And just as a quick reminder, because apparently I didn't pick up on this, it's cat themed. It's about cats. Curtis has a crazy cat fixation. And I was talking to some people. This is when they knew that Curtis just was hopeless, right? In the middle of the campaign, which should be a competitive campaign, which a Republican of stature, accomplishment could actually have won. But you got Curtis, who really doesn't have stature. I mean, he has name recognition, but does he have stature? Does he command respect? Has he done anything with his life? No, of course not. He made himself a nuisance. Like, just for background, I don't know when this happened to Curtis. He used to be all about subway crime, and then that he had a spinoff where it was all about cats and dogs and puppies and kittens, and they don't go together. You know, Curtis and kittens. I just don't. But he's got a thing. Maybe it's because Nancy, and I think Nancy did a lot of damage to him. Nancy and her crazy anti-Israel feelings and posts. Cut 14, if you don't mind. Cut 14. If you were running for mayor and you had millions of dollars behind you and lots of people depending on you, would you screw around like this? You know, when he talks about his wife Nancy all the time, it brings up that Curtis has been married like 15 times. Why is he talking about Nancy so much? Why was he talking about Nancy so much? What the hell was that all about? Whipped. Weird and whipped. I mean, bringing in all the dogs and cats. This was his. We got so much going on. A crime, a quality of life, crazy bicycles. And this guy's talking about cats. I've never in my life heard anybody bring up the issue of dogs and cats other than, do you have a dog? You know, oh, I have a dog. Meet my cat. You know, but as a public issue, it's not an issue. I know, yeah, there are extremist, crazy people out there. That's how they want to live their lives and talk about those things and dress up as them or whatever. That's why President Trump was absolutely, positively right about this guy. And people who I know, people like idiots, especially, quite frankly, a lot of those lost souls who were led around by, what's that guy's name, the artist? Forgot. But here, listen to this. Cut 13. President Trump nails it yet again on Curtis and so many other things. So what did he do in the end? In the end, I think he urged people to like bite the bullet and vote for Cuomo. And that's the thing about Curtis. Curtis could have quit the race. I mean, look, I have no regard for Cuomo. But the thing about Cuomo is, for all of his deficiencies and failings, he's a professional. He's a professional. Here's evidence of that. You know, the election is over. And actually, even during the election, at one point, when Mamdani said, after 9/11, my aunt could not ride the train because of her hijab. And I said, oh, my gosh, this guy is such a liar. He's lying about this city, New York City. He's lying about it. And I never saw him as as a real threat until that moment. And part of me thought he wasn't going to win. So I did immediately, right then and there, say I cannot and I must support Cuomo I actually got in touch with Cuomo. I said, because I had been very, very rough on Cuomo. And I said, listen, here's the deal. I got my reservations about you, but I think you're a pro, and I think you've campaigned for this thing. You campaign hard. And at this point, we have to save our city, and I'm endorsing you. Not endorsing. I can't legally, officially endorse, but I said I'm supporting you. I'll be voting for you, and I'm going to let people know I'm doing that. I can't say the E word. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make Curtis Sliwa drop his charade campaign. About 30 seconds later, Cuomo got on the phone with me, and he said, thank you. And it was like, that's life in the big leagues. You can go around nursing a grudge for the rest of your life, but that was crunch time. We had a chance. And if Curtis had surrendered, it would have, people say, well, if every single voter for Curtis switched over to Cuomo, he still would have lost. And there was no way that was going to happen. That may be true, but it would have redefined the race. It would have given Cuomo, suddenly, it would have made him appear viable, more viable. And a lot of other people it would have just kind of turned, it was a literal game changer. And it would have sparked other events, unforeseen events. And maybe that rotten police commissioner, who just seems to be so, status, job obsessed, maybe she would have found the gumption to do what she had been thinking and what people were urging her to do, to quit the administration and endorse Cuomo. And we would not be in this terrible mess. And there are people who are dead now who would be alive. Yet Curtis, I think it was for money. And then, really, this is the ultimate insult. It's one thing to go to the inner circle dinner to laugh, and, smile and to be cordial. But Curtis Sliwa is now a pal of the man himself, the mayor. And listen to this. They did a skit together, and I thought it was totally bizarre, totally inappropriate. Let's listen, if you don't mind. Cut 12, please. Cut 12.
Parades right to exist, and most importantly, helping to destroy sinister, old, political dynasties. By the way, it isn't all about me. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a content creator, but I do a little governing on the side. Anyway, first day, you're going to do great, Patrick Cleveland.
Don't be glazing me, Z-Man. But hey, I'm a little nervous. I got to be honest with you. Whenever I get nervous, I treat myself to a new parade. This one is a new color that the shop just got in. Red.
Oh, looks good on you, Dr. Cleo. Anyway, there's something I have to get to. Do you mind if we get the show on the road?
Oh, no worries. I got a train to go out and patrol. You mind if I put on something that helped get me through cat med allergy school?
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Now
So the scene is
you.
Mamdani is sitting on a couch in a medical smock, and he's pretending Sliwa, he's the doctor. I was sitting right next to John Catsimatidis, the one and only. John, that was, first of all, great to see you.
I was in Mayor Mamdani's office last Wednesday, and that was his office he was sitting in.
Yeah, that was his office.
Yes.
First of all, how did the meeting go?
The meeting went well, and I said to him, look, he is the mayor. We have no choice. He's the mayor. We fought the war. We lost. And now we know why. One of the reasons why we lost. I said to him, look, you are the mayor, and you're on the edge of disaster, or you're on the edge of success. You're a smart guy. You went to Bronx Science High School, I said Brooklyn Tech kids are smarter than Bronx Science kids, but you went to Bronx Science. You have 150 IQ, and it's your choice to help make this city the best city in the world. So I said to him that people are willing to help him, but and President Trump, I said to him, I think President Trump, you need affordable housing. You need $5 billion. You need $10 billion. I'm sure the money is there for affordable housing, but you have to do the right thing. President Trump loves New York, and Greg, you know that too. He loves New York, but you have to do the right thing for New York too. So it was a come to reality thing. Some of the publicity over the weekend.
John, do me a favor, stand by, because the weekend revealed all. We got to take a quick break.
Take the break. Take that break.
Curtis did, and the money that I believe changed hands. We'll be right back with one hell of what should be a scandal. Be right back.
Greg Kelly.
Let's go, Brandon.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That will be $3, ma'am.
What? I thought Mamdani was going to make public transportation free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's the free transportation you're looking for.
That's so-
It's a cartoon camel walking down the street. That's not very nice. John Catsimatidis, when you saw Curtis Sliwa palling around with the mayor at City Hall, in a silly skit that wasn't really funny.
Greg, you were sitting next to me.
Yes, but you're a poker face.
I think both of our mouths were open a little bit. We didn't believe what we were seeing.
It was, worse than anything, it was not funny. It was not interesting. And it was not funny. It wasn't interesting, and they were mumbling. But it showed me that they were, to me, they were co-conspirators all along.
Well, and I'm surprised that Cuomo didn't react even more than he did, because it seemed like that Curtis, and nobody could figure it out, but now we could figure it out. Curtis Cuomo was the target of Curtis instead of the clear and present danger of having a socialist in New York, the way President Trump had suggested. That President Trump had said, "I'd rather have a Democrat than have a socialist."
Now, was that because he was bought off by Mamdani, or was it because that Curtis really hates Cuomo?
We were all scratching our heads. We all had bald spots in our heads. we couldn't understand it, but it seems like we did an investigation, and it seems like a lot of the Mamdani supporters also contributed to Curtis, which is not against the law for Mamdani, because it is what it is. But with the matching funds, it could be as much as $250,000.
So that's a lot of money. To me, it doesn't look like he spent his money well, Curtis Sliwa. I did not. That was not a robust. I don't
know where his money is, but he raised $1.5 million, and the city funded him $5.5 million. I mean, this is so stupid. When the city funds $5.5 million on raising $1.5 million, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And that's our money.
So Curtis all of a sudden ended up with $7 million, and I understand that his wife was a major part of the campaign, and I understand his sister was a major part of the campaign. I don't know where the money went. I mean, it's not up to me to investigate. It's up to other people. But the fact is, we couldn't understand why he was going after Cuomo, because the front runner was Mamdani, Zohan.
But Mamdani had an
I'm learning how to say Mamdani, and they did that skit, Mamdani.
It's mom like your mom. Donnie like Donnie Osmond. Mamdani.
Yeah.
It was actually very helpful.
Yes.
Mamdani. Look, he was not without a certain level of charm. He didn't win me over.
Listen, I told them that we want our city to succeed, and he can have all the money he wants from Trump if he does the right things for our city. And we told them again on checks and balances. The fact is, you have Governor Hochul has checks and balances. Governor normally has checks and balances on the mayor. And also Julie Menem, the city council speaker, has checks and balances. And also Jay Clayton, the U.S. attorney, who's coordinating things that the FBI, the ATF, the DEA is doing in our city, and he reports to President Trump.
What did he say to you, Mamdani, the mayor, during that meeting?
During that meeting, he smiled a lot, and he liked the idea. I said to him when I ran for mayor in 2013 about the World's Fair. He loved that idea.
Bringing it back.
Because they'll add a zillion tourists to New York City, which we need. And what I said is the way we were going to do it is we're going to put it on the edge of every borough, right on the shoreline. So we use the ferries to go from Brooklyn to Queens to Staten Island to Manhattan to the Bronx. And so the World's Fair would be in 5 boroughs and along the shoreline so you don't have the extra traffic.
You ever meet Tiger Woods in your travels?
I met him once, and I didn't realize until right now that he's dating Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife.
Vanessa. And so Donald Trump's granddaughter, Kai, is the daughter of Vanessa, who's going out with Tiger Woods. Tiger, obviously...
And President Trump says, don't you dare drive my daughter, my granddaughter. He did say that.
Why not have a driver? Here he is, President Trump, on the Tiger Woods thing. And they are close. Cut 8, please. Cut 8.
I feel so badly. He's got some difficulty. There was an accident, and that's all I know. Very close friend of mine. He's an amazing person, amazing man, but some difficulties. I just can't imagine a guy like that who is probably close to billionaire status, if not billionaire status, would not have a driver. Tiger.
No way.
What?
I think he's half broke.
Why? Really?
I just, why don't you say Google the net worth of Tiger Woods?
Well, he's got one hell of a house. He's got nice cars.
Well, you know why he has one hell of a house? When you buy a house in Florida, and you pay cash for it, nobody could, even if it's the Homestead Act, even if you owe $1 zillion, they can't take that house away from you.
I think I heard about this. So if you got lawsuits coming your way, put all your money into a house and you're protected.
You're
basically
protected. You can't take that house away from you. But you have to pay the taxes on that house. And I don't know how much your taxes are.
Well, I'm going to say this. He could afford Uber. Now, some people don't like Uber, but anyway, we hope he gets it straightened out.
I use taxis. I use Ubers.
Are you worried about the oil energy situation with Iran? I feel like this, I don't know what the hell's going on.
What I've said, I was on French television the other day, on Sunday afternoon. And I said, under President Biden, oil was at $90 a barrel for 4 years, 48 months. Under President Trump, it's now $90 for 1 month. And I think the war will be over in the next 30 days, and it'll go back down to 55 to 65.
I love it. Were the French nice to you? You know, they can be rather snobby.
Well, they try to be tough. And I said to him, "Why did?" He says, "Oh, it's going to hurt the economy. We're going to have inflation." I said, "Why didn't you say that to President Biden when he had it there for 4 years at $90?"
Yeah, because they like the Democratic Party more.
I said to the French, I said, the United States of America wants to protect all of Europe. The United States of America wants to protect the UK, and we've always protected it. We saved your butts in World War II. We saved your butts in World War I, and you still make mistakes. Look, you have allowed your country to be invaded. Now, so many foreigners are in France, so many foreigners in the UK, so many foreigners in Germany. You know what I did? I was in Greece 2 years ago introducing Mike Pompeo, and the Prime Minister was there and everybody. And you know what I did? I said to him, I left Greece when I was 6 months old, and I said, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Pompeo, don't let the Greece. I said my forefathers were Greek. My great forefathers are Greek. My great forefathers are. Don't let Greece get invaded. And you know what happened last year? 8,000 Libyans tried to come in to his home island of Crete. And guess what he did? He put those 8,000 in cages for 90 days.
Ooh.
Well, guess what?
What?
No other migrants came into Greece.
They got the message, huh?
They got the message.
Did they send those 8,000 in the cage back home?
Absolutely. But after they've spent 90 days in the cage.
Yeah, just something, an experience to remember us by.
Yes. So that's the Prime Minister Mitsotakis did the right thing. And look, I think Italy is for the Italians. I think Germany is for the Germans. I think France is for the French. Greece is for the Greeks. Don't let your country get invaded. You know one of the reasons for Brexit? The British were 67, about 10, 15 years ago, were 67% British. And they woke up one day and they're 47% British. They had, what did you say, the oh crap scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the reason for Brexit. They won't tell you that. They'll tell you, oh, the economics and this and that, and we don't want to give up the British pound, which is smart for them. But the euro is strong, but it's the British pound is strong. But the dollar, I'd rather have dollars than anything else.
Yeah, cash is king, American cash, and Donald Trump's signature coming to the currency this summer. Well, John Catsimatidis, thank you as always. Who's on the show tonight?
Oh my God! I got Congressman Tim Burchett. He's coming on, and I don't know if you heard when they were having the UFO hearings.
Yeah.
In Congress,
right?
One of the top guys in UFOs, Major General, 2-star general, that knows a lot, and was about to disclose certain things. He disappeared.
You're kidding me.
And then 2 weeks later, they found him dead.
Wow.
And there's some scientists missing. So maybe the men in black are around.
I would believe it.
Tune in, and Tom Burchett, and also Senator Bud from North Carolina. He's one smart guy. He's on the Intelligence Committee, and he made some revelations. So again, tune in to hear Senator Bud. Tune in to hear Tim Burchett. And Bill O'Reilly's always with us on Mondays.
Oh, he's amazing.
And
it's a hot show at 5:00. John Catsimatidis, we thank you for everything.
Greg Kelly, I enjoyed sitting next to you on Saturday night, and we had a good time. I don't know, the dessert I didn't like that much.
Carrot cake in a cylinder. What the hell? At first I was like, ooh, pumpkin. It was, you're right about that. And they needed some ice cream. Other than that, it was a great night. Thank you, John. Be right back.
Thank you, Greg.
Greg Kelly
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, we are back. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. So, I came out against this guy, Joe Kent, about a week ago. He quit in a huff and said, oh, we shouldn't be in Iran. President Trump has been basically lied to, and this is terrible, and Israel is in control of everything, and Israel was in control of why we went to Iraq, just on and on and on. Borderline anti-Semitic stuff. He had no business doing it, and I came out and, quite frankly, with a fair amount of brutality, put him in his place. Who the hell are you? And since you're such a war hero, according to you, I went through his record, and I found some overwhelming discrepancies. Almost like we're talking almost a little bit of stolen valor, right? It's that bad. And you should see what the hell I've been going through online. Now, I don't care. I get, quite frankly, a kick out of it. But at Greg Kelly USA on X or Instagram, IG, and I got all of these guys threatening me. literally threatening me. You take on the special forces. We're gonna show you what's what. Special forces. Oh, excuse me. I did not know you were special forces. Special forces. Nobody ever talked about special forces until when did that become a thing? I mean, you were in the military or you weren't in the military. And now it's this, oh, well, we were in special forces. And then I find these guys bragging about how many people they killed. Now, number one, I don't believe them, okay? I just don't believe them. And number two, even if you did kill somebody, you don't go around talking about it. You don't go around bragging about it. It is so contrary to the military ethos and kind of sentiment that I learned. There's the phrase officer and a gentleman. You can be in the military. It doesn't mean you're a savage. And the way that people are behaving. So I put something on my X this morning. Sean Ryan is this guy who never, ever, ever lets you forget he's a Navy SEAL, right? And the more I see of these podcast guys and their suspiciously prominent profiles, I'm like, maybe you guys were all propped up by the CIA. I don't know. Maybe there's something to that after all. So what did I say here? You know, they're what they're doing is they're rallying behind Joe Kent because he's under fire. He's not under fire. I'm making fun of him and I'm criticizing him. That's not under fire. We have this thing in America. Oh, you attacked him. I didn't attack him. I verbally ridiculed him. That's different. And you're allowed to. You're allowed to, gosh damn it. So they put out this very ominous kind of tweet about all the stuff that Joe Kent allegedly has done. And a lot of these special forces guys. Oh, wow, we did this, we did that. One guy told me, I've got more medals. If you stacked all my medals on a battleship, the battleship would sink. All right? You don't have that many medals. All right? And he's talking about all the bodies he's killed, and he'd have to stack them this high. And I'm sure there's a certain subset of people who find that impressive. Normal people don't. All right? And people in the know, people who actually served, find that rather grotesque, actually. So what I did was, anybody remember the movie Stripes? Lighten up, Francis. Lighten up. Name's Psycho. Any of you guys touch my stuff, and I'll kill you. Any of you guys touch me, and I'll kill you. And what did Sergeant Holka say? Lighten up, Francis. Wait, the name's Psycho. The name's Francis. But if anybody, you guys call me Francis, I'll kill you. I go by Psycho. Lighten up, Francis. A certain subset of military veterans have become toxic. Toxic. You know the whole thank you for your service? Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for that went to their heads. Their brains exploded. Now it's you shut the hell up. I was special forces. I killed people. You don't know jack. Shut up and sit down. To which I say, easy there, pal. You received a salary. You had ample benefits. And suspiciously, the most prominent among you hung around the CIA a lot. Joe Kent, CIA contractor. Sean Ryan, CIA contractor. This is not Prussia, by the way. A system where those who served in the military are somehow in charge. It doesn't work that way. The military executes orders from our civilian leadership. People after you can't listen to Greg Kelly. This guy was special forces. 11 tours in Iraq. One of those tours was 2 weeks long. All right, they're exaggerating. If you want to go through the book, and you can look at him, how he's ogling women at the green zone pool, how he's getting drunk night after night, how he's laying around in his panties. He said that, not me. It's amazing. And the stuff that I'm getting, because this is a legend that they have been getting away with for a long time, right? Most people will shut up and sit down the moment a lot of things, right? The moment a person of color starts talking about their race and racism that they endured, it shuts just about everybody up in the room. The moment a woman starts talking about being a woman and being subjected to any kind of harassment or abuse, everybody in the room shuts up. The moment a veteran starts saying, I served, gosh damn it, I killed 14 people in war, what the hell did you do? Shuts up the room. those little tricks don't work anymore. Whether you're black, whether you're a woman, whether you're white, whether you're a veteran, it's what is happening in the here and the now at this moment. That's what's important. Not something you tell me you did in 2004. I don't care anymore. Those things used to mean something. They don't anymore. I'm sorry. Good for you. But you guys, what's the word? You weaponized it. You weaponized the goodwill and general support that the American people have for you. And you turned it into a political thing. You know who really got it going? John Kerry. I, John Kerry, am reporting for duty. Remember him? The guy who went to Vietnam for 6 days, put himself in for 3 Purple Hearts. Just crazy. Had a movie crew take footage of him while he's walking around. He got off the boat for 20 minutes. He's a Navy guy. What the hell was he doing on land? He wasn't a Navy guy walking around. How did this Navy guy get into Vietnam? He asked the boat to pull over so he could get out and walk for 20 minutes. And they took pictures of him. And then he comes back and he objects to the war. How do you ask the last man to die in Vietnam? Our tactics are reminiscent of Genghis Khan. Just this pompous weirdo. And it was all kind of by design. He thought this up in his Yale dorm room. I shall report for duty in Vietnam. I shall become the most prominent critic of the war, hence my return from Vietnam, and I shall become president of the United States. Well, it almost worked. And but we blew him out of the water. But that formula is irresistible. People still want to try it. All right, now look, this is very, very politically incorrect, but it's a cartoon, and it's President Trump is the bus driver, and some woman who appears to be, I don't know what she appears to be, but she gets on the bus that President Trump is driving, and she wants the bus to be free. And this is a little conversation between a Zoran Mamdani voter. Well, I guess I'll have to look into why that is. Now, obviously, he's painting with a broad brush, and it's not very nice, and it's a little bit, I don't know, xenophobic, ethnophobic. I can't sign up for all that stuff, but those are some interesting questions. I've never read the Koran. I am curious about it. I want to. People cite the Koran, and they cite some wild stuff in that Koran, and you're like, oh, my gosh. But, folks, they can cite some wild stuff in the Bible. Oh, yeah, it's in there. Right? If you steal something, they can cut your hand off, right? According to the Bible, right? What are you supposed to do if you look at a woman and you kind of want to jump her bones, gouge her eyeball out? Now, is that meant to be literal? No. However, people have debated that stuff for centuries. And I think that there are some other things that are taken potentially out of context in the old Koran there that I just don't know enough. I don't know enough. But it is interesting, and I find it, we're not having a full and honest conversation when it comes to issues around Islam and migration. All right? Hey, for a while there, we weren't having open and honest conversations about a lot of things. I don't think anything should be off limits. Fair enough? Fair enough. Be right back.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?